Okay, so we're gonna be absolutely tearing through these AP Euro kekw reviews today. Right now we're gonna be covering Unit 7, and this is kind of the thought processes of the 19th, 20th century, right? So the perspectives of the 19th century. We're gonna be talking about the unification of Italy, Germany, imperialism, Otto von Bismarck, and the rise of modern art. So it's just one more reminder. This is the AP Euro kekw review series, meaning if you're studying right now, it's probably too late, and I'm probably kekwing at you. So I have been on a little bit of a hiatus recently, but I finally gathered the encouragement and the motivation to finish up these videos, or the last couple of videos that I need to push out. I do have a prediction for the DBQ topic of this year. It is going to be in the 20th century, and I am thinking a social, maybe women's rights as well, because we haven't had a women's rights DBQ since 2016, and it was about France. So that's what we're looking at. Our AP Euro teacher also kind of semi-confirmed my suspicions, but thankfully it's not too late. There's still a little bit of brainstorming and studying that could be done. Anyways, let's get on with it. Unification of Italy. This happened in 1870, and the people of the Italian peninsula wanted to be their own country for once. And guess what? It happened. So this movement was primarily based on nationalism. And nationalism is an ideology that, again, people kind of wanted to identify with the country that they were from instead of the country that they were being ruled by. So up until this point, Italy was primarily dominated by outside countries. So that included Spain, that included France, that included Austria probably to some extent, and maybe the Holy Roman Empire. It's a little spotty for me, but basically how this can help you is on the AP test, if there is a map and it does have Italy on it, here's the cheat code. If it has Italy on it, you know the map is from 1870 or afterwards. If it does not have Italy on it, and instead it has maybe the Papal States or the separate kingdoms or something, or it's ruled under another empire, you can guess the map is before this time period. So that's a little cheat code for you guys right there really quickly. The unification of Germany. This is another sort of unifying nationalism thing that happens. This one happens in 1871 and is led by Otto von Bismarck. We're going to be talking about him a little more later. He's actually a big brain, super smart guy. He knew what he was doing at the time. So the unification of Germany into the German Empire occurred in 1871, and this is massively important because Europe is going to have another massive player going into the 20th century. Basically, Germany is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, contributing factor to the events that happen in the early 20th century. Basically, another cheat code for the maps. Germany goes through a couple of different iterations. It goes through the Holy Roman Empire. So the Holy Roman Empire can be the earlier time periods, right? So this is how you can tell what time period the map is from. The Holy Roman Empire, it's called Prussia at one point. The German Empire, or the First German Reich, this is that 1871 to 1918 era. Then it's called the German Republic or something like that, which is the German Second Reich after this time period, from the end of World War I to the beginning of World War II. Then it's called the Third Reich, which is the World War II era, which is the Hitler era. That's your little German map cheat code. Imperialism. So imperialism is actually very important. It's kind of similar to colonies in the earlier AP Euro kekw reviews. So in the left on this image, we see that one political cartoon, the one where Europe spread all over Africa. So basically what they do is they kind of stomp over Africa. They kind of do the exact same thing that they did to the Americas. They get a bunch of colonies. They start exploiting the natives. They start exploiting the land for resources. There are three main motives that I like to highlight for expansionism or imperialism, right? Those are the three G's: gold, God, and glory. We see God take sort of a backseat in terms of like religious motives, take a backseat in this time period, as it's mostly for economic or for political influence. So yeah, that's the reasons for imperialism. Otto von Bismarck. So Bismarck is actually the true big brain man of Germany. He sees ahead of time, if Germany ends up getting into a war, which eventually it does, World War I, right? He realizes that war in Europe is basically inevitable. It's bound to happen at one point. Bismarck's worst nightmare is having to fight two wars at the same time, or a two-fronted war. So he tries to find a way to ally himself with France or Russia to make sure that they can't become chums. The reason for this is because France is right here, Russia's right here, and Germany's dead in the middle. Okay, so he tries to prevent France and Russia from becoming good friends so they can fight him on a two-fronted war. He helps Germany with economic growth and helps them succeed for a bit, and notably, he gets a battleship named after himself. Pretty important too. So I don't know why they didn't just make him like the full president of Germany or whatever. They made him the chancellor. So yeah, they should have just made him like the actual ruler. Modern art. So in modern art, we see the focus shift away from the natural world towards the abstract concepts seen later in postmodern art after World War II. People started to depict more emotions in art, and art actually started to move away from the upper class people into the middle class and maybe even the lower class. It's at this point in time where people realize that maybe everyone should start to enjoy art, but that's not yet a full mainstream idea. It's not going to be until postmodern era. So just keep that in mind. It's not super important, but it's pretty important to remember. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this short AP Euro kekw review. I know this unit is actually one of the shorter units. It's not that packed in terms of knowledge, and I really do have to end up pumping out these AP Euro kekw reviews. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next AP Euro kekw review.